Welcome to the Big Guys, episode 5. We got a lot to cover. The Giants lose. They get actually just smoked. Ryan's Niners win. We're going to recap the weekend, our gambling. We had our ups and downs. Ryan smashed it. Touchdown, Tony, touchdown. Obviously coming through again. We're going to go over Ryan's random thoughts. We got this week in the world. We're going to go over next week's games. Is Pat Mahomes' ankle okay? Joey Burrow's a killer. There's a bunch to talk about. Golf is back. John Rahm, back-to-back wins. We're going to talk a little bit about that. College hoops is on the horizon, and we will end the show with the fattest thing that we have done this week. Ryan, we'll just start with your Niners because you won. Congratulations. Let's just start with – we can start there. I know you want to start there. What do you got for me?
It's all good. It was a good game to watch. It was fun. I mean, both teams had their chances, and both teams made mistakes. The thing that changed the game was Kittle's catch over the middle. It's like they were scoring on when that happened. They were scoring on that drive. It was just like seemed to shift things a little bit momentum wise, and just kind of fire everybody up. But
now good win, 19-12. An ugly game though. So was there any, I mean, there's a lot of good to take out of it, but was there anything you're nervous? Because Philly is no joke, obviously. We'll get into them a little bit later. But anything that you didn't love?
The offense. I mean, it was the first time they've seen a good defense in a while. So, expected them to struggle, but then to see it really happen. I guess my biggest concern would be Christian McCaffrey looks kind of hobbled. He's got this like air cast thing around his leg on the sidelines, like heating and cooling and trying to get right. And just doesn't seem like he's 100%. And he's definitely a game changer. So if we can't get him 20 touches against a defense that I think like their only weaknesses, you can run on them a little bit. I like Mitchell, but CMC is just that game changer.
Well, I owe you an apology, fella. I literally bet the Cowboys any way you could. They made me feel bad for a billionaire oil man. Like they're going to kill that guy. Jerry Jones is going to die without another championship, and I feel bad for him, but don't feel bad for him all wrapped up in one. You know what I mean?
I was saying, like between McCarthy and Dak, I mean, they make a lot of bonehead decisions, both of them. And
so that's what I was. That's what I was.
Schultz at the end of that game.
That's what I was just going to say. I mean, so we talked about it a couple episodes ago, and I think everybody who watches football talks about it. McCarthy's just, fat, dumb, and stupid at times. Just not using his timeouts, letting all that time tick off the clock. Dalton Schultz just not getting out. I mean, and Dak could have threw 12 picks. I mean, He looked so bad. And the reason I asked you if there's anything you were worried about or anything that you were wondering, and you said the offense, I thought there was some opportunities for Dallas to take some shots and get back in that game, and they had some open routes, and they're just lost, man. They look like they weren't prepared, and I mean, San Francisco's a really good football team, and I think we're going to see a good game against the Eagles, but down the stretch, you can't make mistakes like that. And as much as that game felt like an ass kicking, they were still always in it, Yeah.
So they capped off a good betting weekend. Because I always do the nice teaser at the beginning of the week, and they were the last leg to play. So
that's what I was going to ask you. So for me this weekend, like as far as the games go, I didn't hit one. Giants, KC, Dallas. What was the other one?
What'd you say? Which one did you say? Giants, KC, Dallas, the Niners.
Yeah.
Oh, Dallas is the Niners. No.
Yeah. How we doing? Anyway, so I lost all the games, but I hit touchdown plays, and so I ended up being okay on the weekend. And the touchdown streak is still just outrageous. Okay, it's out of control, on fire, and it's been good. But you basically swept the board this week. And what did you bet? What was the thought process going into it? Because you tried to tell me, I just wouldn't listen. I probably won't listen again this week if we're being honest.
Well, I did a lot of props this weekend just for shits and gigs, try it out. I kind of split those in the games I did those. So nothing there. College basketball was great. That was 8-1 with a couple, I think at least two, positive money plays in there too. But that felt good because I've been like going 500 in college basketball every weekend. So to have a good 8-1 weekend, that kind of set up whatever I wanted to do for NFL the next day.
Yeah.
But yeah, the main thing is early week. I always put that big teaser out there. I got one this week too that I'll tell you when we talk about the games. But yeah, man, it was fun. You know, because I bet early in the week and I do those teasers, I kind of like play around on the weekend and hope they hit because that's what I put the most money on. And it worked out. So I was pumped. Made it enjoyable. I didn't bet much on the Niner game because I had them as the last leg of the teaser, and two, I just wanted to really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think another thing too that goes without saying is San Francisco's defense is fucking good. They're really good, and as bad as Dallas did look, a lot of that is those guys too. So I think this matchup with Philly is going to be an interesting one. And I mean, you have anything else you want to add on your Niners? Kind of a sloppy dog shit game. We saw some knucklehead plays towards the end, like we knew we would. Oh, that's what I was going to say. The kicker, Jerry Jones coming down and talking to the guy. That's not helping anyone. That's like, you're in sales. That's like your sales manager going and be like, you have to sell this one. It's like, well, fuck, I'm not going to sell this. It's just, what did you think of that? That was classic Jerry Jones.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think he was definitely missing the first extra point too that got blocked. It was like
Greg,
away to the left. Yeah.
Greg Olsen, he's awesome, by the way. And he was like, I think this thing was going to miss 10 feet left. Like, if you look at it, you're like, oh, yeah, that's kept going in. Like, the guy on the end shouldn't be blocking it, right? So,
he's almost better off it got blocked, so no one could see him just shank one again like that.
Yeah, it looks like Tony Pollard broke his leg. That's unfortunate. Or he had a bad leg injury. I don't know if it's broken.
That sucked. I mean, I say that about the Kittle catch too, but Pollard going down really, really was, equal to that huge. As far as its emphasis on the game and how it swung things in the Niners' favor.
I really think you could say just Kittle's usage rate, like in general, over the last 5-6 weeks, and how they've implemented him more so in the passing game. It's opening things up, and I mean, he's just a fun dude to root for, obviously. But sick play, sick catch.
His production is directly in line with Purdy starting. Like as soon as Purdy came in, boom.
It's true. So. A game that the Giants, Philly. Listen, it wasn't fun. It was a pretty boring game because
I didn't even mention that. Like my other part of the good betting weekend was I put a ton of money on that Eagles over in the first half, but I didn't.
Yeah, we missed the Big Guys parlay. Ryan said Eagles 13.5 in the first half, and I said CeeDee Lamb to catch a touchdown. Now he went ballistic. I think he went for like 12 for 110. He was the only guy who did shit on the field, but he didn't score. And we lost that. We're 0-3 in the Big Guy parlay. As much as we are up a ton since we started doing this, the Big Guy parlay has been a travesty, and we'll get it worked out. But Giants Eagles, okay? We ran into a team that's better than us literally in every position. The season, this is going to be a little bit of loser talk, I think, but it was a good season. You overachieved. But you got to a spot where you're like, okay, Philadelphia was not worried about covering our receivers. You know what I mean? There was no threat anywhere. We couldn't stop Miles Sanders. We just couldn't do anything. We couldn't guard against the big play. Jalen Hurts looked pretty fucking healthy, and we got ragdolled on both lines. Like Jason Kelce and Lane Johnson were just tossing guys. They're just a really, really good football team. Not saying anything nobody knows, but this was a little bit of a wake-up call for the Giants of like, all right, we got where we got. You alluded last week to the soft schedule towards the end. You play the Vikings team that everybody says historically is the worst fucking 13-win team ever. But you win those games, you think you got a chance. It was an ass-kicking, front to back, out-coached, and everything.
The world was flying high on the Giants too. I saw on NFL Network they had a whole like montage of them saying it's the Giants. They were just cursing them all week. Like back at a team like that.
The line, like we said it last week, the line screamed take Philly. I mean, Philly punched us in the mouth. The game was literally over 3 minutes in. I mean, it was that kind of game where it was never close. And then you saw some things out of the Giants you haven't seen all year long. Bad decision making. bad coaching. You know, we punted 4th and 6 on our own 42 down 28-7. And that's just pussy shit. Like you have to go for it there. We're not stopping them. By the way, pretty sure the Eagles held on to the ball for like the next 10 minutes after that. But before that, it's 2nd and 1, and Daniel Jones just doesn't throw the ball away. He runs out of bounds, takes a 5-yard loss. And it's like stupid shit like that we haven't done all year. It looked like we were playing a little scared towards the end. And it was a good season. That's just the team we're never going to beat until we upgrade some positions. We got a lot of good stuff to build on, but that was an ass kicking. I think this Philly Niners game is going to be a lot more compelling. What was your takeaway from the Giants game? And does Daniel Jones still get $30 million a year?
Yeah, I think he'll get paid, but just you don't want to hear what I said. It's what I expected, so it is. Yeah, it's just what I expected. Cool. The biggest difference I saw in the game is what we talked about on the pod. It was like the Giants D is nothing like their defense, and then you got to go to them. It was just like the perfect storm.
Yeah, I tweeted that clip out. You literally said, I think the biggest difference in this game will be defense. And then you just told me all these stats, and you're like, the Eagles are just the best at all of them. And then it literally just transpired on the football field. And that was an ass kicking, front to back. Now listen, that's what I was going to say. That game right there, things really, the tides turned. Richie James Jr. dropping the wide open touchdown pass.
He does drop quite a few balls.
Plus 340 straight, and we had plus 644 parlayed with Travis Kelce. I'm in Walmart like a crazy person screaming my head off. And this guy's like, "You okay, sir?" I'm like, yeah, I'm good, man. Let's go.
You are a crazy person. You're in fucking Walmart during the...
I was going to buy a TV for the Giants game, so I went and bought a TV.
Nice.
I was watching it on my phone. So I had to work, and so my schedule got all jammed up, so I wasn't able to get home. But I went and got a TV, and I was screaming in the Walmart. But tough game, good season. I think I want Daniel Jones back. I want Saquon back. I heard Saquon just turned down a $12 million offer, saying he wants something closer to $16 million. Hopefully they can meet in the middle and get him back. I ultimately think they will do that and get him back. Before we talk about some of the other games, I want to just talk about Kansas City real quick. And
yeah, we can recap both of those games real quick. I mean, that's pretty simple. I mean, we both thought KC was going to win, and I think the only reason that it didn't cover like we thought was because Mahomes left the game for a little while. I mean, I know Henny did, lead a touchdown drive, but
it was huge. It was. I'm sorry, it was Kelce's second TD. It was huge. It was huge for me. But you're right. The game did have the feel like it was going to kind of get away from the Jags, and then the injury happened. He gets his ankle rolled up, and he said, "Get the hell away from him! No, back out there." So he went back out. He's a gamer. Henny, man, you could have given me 1,000 guesses who the backup was. I would have never guessed that.
I know. I didn't know he was still playing.
Trevor Lawrence. Is he going to be a top 5 quarterback in the next 3-4 years?
Yeah, I mean, people forgetting he's getting Calvin Ridley next year. So, I mean, that just gives him another elite weapon on offense. And Ridley won't drop these passes that Kirk keeps dropping deep. So, yeah, I like his outlook.
And Kirk's a nice player, too. I mean, it'd be a nice compliment probably to get back on, more of like a number 2 role, right? So
that deep ball that Lawrence threw, not many quarterbacks at all can throw that. Like Kirk should have caught that and just completed the play. I mean, that throw was too nice to go unanswered like that.
Yeah, I was watching the game. Or I saw that actually highlight, and that's one of those things where I forget who was saying it. Like you said, there's only a couple of quarterbacks who make that throw, and I forget how young he is too. He's only 23 years old, so I think, like you said, the AFC is stacked with quarterbacks, and we'll see what happens moving forward. I think one thing that people keep forgetting about is Kansas City's defense is fucking nasty too, huh?
Yeah, they played well. I mean, it's an easier matchup than they got this week, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm curious. I mean, we'll talk about both the games coming up this weekend, but One takeaway that I just have is, if we're going to talk about the other game real quick too, is that the Bengals D is nasty.
They are nasty, and I got to tell you, the Bills. First off, is that DeMar Hamlin or is it not DeMar Hamlin? What a weird series of events that whole thing was. I guess I don't know. I don't really care, but like, I mean, I don't know. Did you see that? It was weird. They like he was the president. They snuck him in. They bring him up. The snow. You can't see his face anywhere. We can't get a picture with your thumbs up, something with your face. I don't know. It seemed kind of weird. Buffalo's got a real problem on their hands.
Yeah.
They're going backwards. They keep losing. And Diggs.
Josh Allen looked terrible. I mean, looked bad. So
it looks like Joey B's league right now. It just had all the makings of a Buffalo game. First off, the line was, how was it that easy to, like, Cincinnati getting 6 points there? I don't know. I was all over Buffalo. I was like, it seems too good to be true. That's too many points for Joe Burrow. And they went out there and they just abused them from start to finish.
I think what people underestimate is that, there's so much Burrow talk that they don't talk about the defense. The defense is, I'll go over their stats when we get to that game this week. Their defense is unreal.
Yeah. And their offensive line stepped up. Like we said last week, 3 of the 5 guys just down, next man up, bully ball. I mean, and some people say maybe the snow helped that, but I don't know if there's truth to that.
Yeah, Joe Mixon was just running people over. P. Ryan was running people over. Just like they went out there, like you said, bully ball all the way, just start to finish, ran through them.
It was unfortunate because it looked like the games kind of sucked this weekend. They really did. There wasn't really much action. I guess the only thing you can take out of it for me, because that Eagles game sucked, but
yeah, the Cowboys ran quite the last play of the game. That was exciting.
Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to start
trick play.
Oh, what, the Dallas game?
Yeah, at least they ended it with a sick trick play with Zeke playing center.
That's just a fireable offense. The dumbest play of all time. What did you think was going to happen there? I mean, it was just
like you guys. They lined up like that, so that's been practiced. And I don't think it was practiced like that. That was weird.
Yeah, and McCarthy's just one day rolling into practice like, boys, huddle up. I got it.
Yeah, the annexation of Puerto Rico.
yeah, that's right. Listen, like I said, the games are kind of boring this week. Didn't love everything about them, obviously. But I think these games this week are going to be really good. We'll talk about them in a little bit. You got anything to add to last week's games?
No.
All right. Jerry Jones probably going to have Mike McCarthy murdered, bring Sean Payton in, I would assume. That would be my guess. Real curious to see what the Giants do in the offseason as far as addressing some needs, as far as signing guys, draft-wise. I think Dable leaving the Bills is showing. I think he was a big part of that offense over there.
For sure.
And I think it's the Bills are in panic mode as far as I'm concerned. That was a devastating loss. I think the Giants are tough loss, but we got a lot to be looking forward to. Hopefully we get some things worked out. But that was football. We're going to cover some stuff in a little while. But Ryan, this week in the world, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. All right.
Let's go.
Ready? Ryan.
Let's see if I've heard of it.
This week in the world. All right. Couple of things. Alec Baldwin. Did you hear about this?
I have not heard about Alec Baldwin since he killed someone.
He's being charged with manslaughter.
Oh, so it's related to that. Damn.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I thought, I had to check and see if this was real because I didn't think you could be held accountable, on a Hollywood set and you're acting and someone gives you a prop and it's a loaded gun and shoots someone. Apparently, you can.
Yeah.
So, do you know the story, obviously, if that's what happened? Somebody, a loaded gun somehow got on set.
And I've heard
unfortunately killed this woman. And it's bad and it's not good, but I feel like they're asking the wrong questions. I'm not a huge Alec Baldwin fan or anything like that, but how is this guy on the hook for that? Like that could have been
I think
anyone.
maybe it is because, like you said too, like you're not a big Alec Baldwin guy. I'm not either. Like I think he's kind of a lunatic anyway. So like maybe I'm not saying like that he did it on purpose. I'm just saying that maybe it's because he's crazy. Like no one really likes him. So like they're not going to really fight for him to not get charged for this because he's not really a great person. So like
Sure, like when OJ got caught like robbing casinos, and they were like, let's just give him the max because he kind of got away with one back in the day. You
yeah,
know? Yeah, I get what you're saying, but listen, I don't know like how it works, but like I had like the first question that popped in my head, I was like, wait, they use real guns? I was like, well, no, they can't use real guns. People be dying left and right. So there's some shady
yeah.
shit.
How's a prop gun even allowed to be loaded?
I
Yeah, like
don't
shouldn't it
know.
be should be blocked?
Why is it not tested? Why is there any live ammo on a Hollywood set, period, like that? It's not, I don't know why Alec Baldwin, I don't know. I thought it was crazy when I saw the headline. Um,
Haven't people died like doing their own stunts and stuff too? So I would
sure.
imagine they had to sign something that said like they're a part of this. You know, if something were to go wrong, I know you don't think about that when you're using a prop gun, but like I would have thought that everyone had enough paperwork in these big movies to like not have any liability.
All the paperwork in the world, nobody's going to be like, we're going to shoot you. And you're like, all right, just where's the dotted line? I don't think you think you're working with a live bullet.
No, you don't. But like, I don't know. That's a tough one. Should it be if he had nothing to do with it? Then why would it be
Well,
manslaughter?
no, he's the one who pulled the trigger. So
Well, no, he is, but like that's you know, yeah. I guess that's the thing. That's a sticky situation.
it's
That's
fucking
bad.
weird, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw that. Like I said, I'm not going to be campaigning for Alec Baldwin or
I
anything
think if
like
you were,
that.
I mean, if you were in the family of the person who died, then you'd want some sort of justice. Like
So,
there has to be someone's got to pay for that.
so apparently, there's enough. I guess there is a lawsuit that those folks did file. Because, like you said, there's enough of like shady shit going on that they can claim maybe malice is the word or whatever, ill intent. I don't know. I'm a dumb person, but it's something that
Yeah.
there's enough there to where they're like, what the fuck's going on here? You know, we want to get paid. We want some answers. And honestly, I would want some answers. Next fucking prop like that, like some next gun somebody gives me in a show, I'd be a little nervous. I don't know. That's
Maybe we'll start a new reality show, 30 to Life Rock. Instead of 35.
Nice pull. Nice
Thank
pull. Excuse me. This one is this one's sports related. Aaron Judge was on Jimmy Fallon, and I know you didn't see this, yeah, because nobody watches that junk anymore. But I saw it on Twitter.
That shit's on way too. Dude, I've been sleeping for hours when that show comes on.
I'm not a big Jimmy Fallon. Like I like Jimmy Fallon. I don't. Those shows just suck to me. They're like so quirky now. They're so cookie cutter, and
I kind of liked him way more. Yeah, when he was like very young and coked out on SNL. That's when I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's the Jimmy I like. Listen, Aaron Judge is on Fallon, and he's getting the basic questions that you get being a New York Yankee and a captain and all this stuff. But he tells a fun little story about Anthony Rizzo was basically recruiting him through the process. And I guess Anthony Rizzo has a dog named Kevin, and Aaron Judge has a dog named Penny, and they're like best friends. And he just kept sending him selfies or like pictures of the dogs together, like the whole time he was, going
awesome.
through the contract process. So he was like, Rizzo knew what to do. He wouldn't say anything. He would just send a picture of the dogs, like literally the dogs running in Yankee Stadium with the backdrop says Yankee Stadium. It's fucking cool, but
I like that.
I thought that was funny. Do you think Aaron Judge hit 60 home runs or more this year?
Oh man, 60's a lot.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, if he stays healthy and plays in New York for half the games, I think he can hit 60.
Yeah, that's my thought. Why the fuck not? You can't expect it, but why not? We'll see.
I got the Yankees as a last leg futures win the World Series this year. I have the Niners, the Celtics, and the Bruins and the Yankees.
Okay.
All win their respective titles. It's for a lot of money. I don't think it'll hit, but it'd be kind of a weird thing to hang on and like talk to you about should I cash out or not if the 3 hit before baseball's over.
Well, Ryan, listen, you never know, because I got to tell you that this next thing in the world is kind of like that. Did you see the video of this kid who had the $5 bet that
Yeah.
72 grand? I love seeing
Good for him.
Dude.
If you remember my freaking because did you see the other kid too did all tight ends?
Yeah.
That's what I did last week. I did all tight ends last week, and of course Hawkinson goes for like 130 and can't score. But yeah, man.
No, that was one of the coolest things. That I love seeing that kind of shit. And he looked pretty young too. And people suck because they're tweeting him out because he said something about it's life-changing money, and they're like, it's not life-changing money. Grow up, Junior. And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up, okay? It is life-changing money to this kid.
When I won 10 grand, I changed my life because of it. Like you can easily change your life with that kind of money.
Absolutely. It's not life-changing money in the sense where you retire, but shut the fuck up. I hate when people try and rain on people's parades. I was pumped for the kid. He looks young. You got these assholes like, good luck with the gambling habit. It's like, fuck you. It's $5. Okay?
That's the old AG in New York, Schneiderman. He was a total douche. And he when they were trying to bring DFS back here, he was like, his quote was, "Not on my watch."
Yeah.
It's like, okay, bud.
Cool. So you hate money? Okay, got it. Listen, the last thing I was gonna say is so that got me thinking. What's your biggest score on the lowest bet you've ever made before?
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. It's probably in NASCAR and something random, like on a $3 entry or something, winning a couple grand.
So back in the day, you probably know this, and I probably said this somewhere, but me and my buddy back when I was working at the golf course, we had a $1 quick pick on the Belmont 6849. I can still remember it. So and we split almost 20 grand on a $1 ticket.
That's insane.
Yeah. And it was a quick pick. It was the year Jatara won, fucking big number on top. But we had it, and it was the year Big Brown came up lame, and we didn't even realize that we hit it because we played everything together, and we had Big Brown and everything. And I was like, motherfucker. And then we loved the horse because we saw it at Saratoga when it first finally came out. And then the thing comes up lame, so you're kind of sad, but then you lose all your bets. And then he's like, "Did you check those quick picks?" And I was like, holy fuck, we won.
That's crazy.
It got me thinking that $5 72K, it was one of the first things I thought of. But
you and I, do you remember when you came over to my house one time and we turned right back around and went to the track because you realized you hit once we got home? It's like, turn on OTB, we got to go back.
Yep, I do. Yeah. I do remember that. Listen, that's what's going on this week in the world, Ryan. Some more fun topics, not so much terrorist driven this week.
Yeah, that's good.
Listen, let's talk about the Niners Phillies, okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Tell me what you're thinking.
I got some of my usual, stats I pulled and stuff like that. I really just tried to look at kind of what stood out the most to me. Okay. So I'll just kind of rattle off some stuff and then we can talk about it. Both of these defenses, we already talked about the defenses, but both are top 10 in the fewest, pass TDs allowed a game. They're both top 3 in, defensive interceptions per game. The Niners have allowed the 4th fewest rushing yards per game to opposing QBs, which I thought was very important when you're playing someone like Hurts. Again, that's schedule dependent too, because you might not have played a lot of running quarterbacks, but I thought it was worth noting at least. And they're number 1 in rush yards allowed and rush yards per attempt in the NFL as well. So I think that kind of goes along with them stopping quarterbacks as well. One thing I did notice, the Eagles are 11th in rush yards allowed per game, but they're 16th in rush yards allowed per attempt. I think you can kind of move the ball on the ground against them a little bit. Whereas, as I just said, they kind of shut down the opposing team's passing games. The 49ers allow the 2nd fewest rush TDs allowed per game. That goes along with their good run D. Eagles are bottom 10 in rush TDs allowed per game. So again, I think you can run on them a little bit, especially in the red zone should you get there. In the 49ers, though, this is where you can also beat their defense. So it's kind of like the tale of two worlds. They're bottom 10 in receptions and receiving yards allowed per game. So it's kind of like what I've noticed is maybe the Niners can run on the Eagles and maybe the Eagles can pass on the Niners. That'd be, I think, their two best paths to move the ball. You just got to wonder what the Eagles' game plan is because they do like to run and they like to move quick. The number one pace that I talked about last week with the Niners are 26 in neutral pace. So it's like a clash of two different styles here.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how well. Like, I think if there's anything that Philly's kind of been like a little bit is the run. Like they've had a little bit of trouble stopping the run, and you got some dogs who can run on that team. I know you said McCaffrey's a little nicked up here, but you got Debo, you got Kittle who can, run those quick little slants where it basically feels like a run. But I'm torn on this game. I think this is going to be a game where I'm going to end up betting it late in the week, like probably like right before kickoff, just because I don't know. It might be a game I only play touchdown plays because I'm both of these games I'm terrified of. But the 49ers, I am really curious to see their front four up against that offensive line of the Eagles. And I think that's going to be like old school football, who wins in the trenches, because here's the other thing. Jalen Hurts can run, and they're going to get to him. It's not going to be like the Giants game last week where Lane Johnson and just dummy Thibodeau and he couldn't do anything. No sacks, no pressures, no nothing on like 60 snaps or something crazy like that. So he looks fully healthy again. For me, I think that's where the game's going to be won is, is there going to be the big play? I'm sure there will be, but I think it's going to be who controls the ball. And I think it's going to be the defensive line, the offensive line. I think that 49ers defensive line is going to be the difference if they win the game. If not, I think it's the offensive line who controls it for Philly. So I'm torn in this game. This feels like an under bet to me. It feels an under bet.
All over the under here. I think this could be worse than Cowboys Niners. I mean, this is just two great defenses, and the Niners are gonna, like you said, keep the ball out of their hands. They play slow, gonna run the clock down, and especially when on a team where you can't pass as much. Plus, you got the other factor. You have Brock Purdy on the road in Philly. You're going to want to take the ball out of his hands.
And I think you're going to have to wear these guys down too, right? I mean, I think you're going to have to commit to the run. And I think that's one of the strengths of Philly, and it's one of the strengths of San Fran. So -2.5, over under 46 feels like a lot of points. How do you feel about Brock Purdy traveling to Philly?
That's what I'm saying. Not good. I mean, he did win in Seattle in a must-win game, but that's different than this because Seattle's defense is trash.
That's like Philly's weird cousin, Seattle. It's not quite the same thing.
Yeah, it's a rowdy crowd, divisional game on the road when you had to win. It was a tough spot. No quarterback likes traveling to Seattle, but their defense is terrible. Like, our offense can manhandle that defense. Our offense can't manhandle this defense. I mean, they're good everywhere. So it'll be interesting to see. That's also why I was saying I hope Christian McCaffrey's healthy, because I think you're going to need a heavy, heavy dose of CMC, Debo, and Mitchell running the ball. And so we'll see what they come up with. We'll see, too. Shanahan kind of let the playbook loose a little bit in the second half last week. First half, he was super, super conservative.
I was going to say Ayuk got in the mix quite a bit in that game as well. And, I mean, what when you talk about, like, guy for guy, offense versus defense, I think this is going to be a matchup where somebody's going to have to make a play. Like, I think this is going to be a really good football game. I can see it being like 20-17, like that kind of feel,
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it'll be just like the game they just played. I mean, just two defenses battling it out. So it's going to come down to who makes the mistakes and who doesn't, who capitalizes on things.
I'm going to ask you a tough question, Ryan. Okay, game ends around 6:30, 7 o'clock. What do you think the score is? What did Brock Purdy do? What's your Ryan's prediction? I mean, what are you thinking? What are you hoping? I know what you're hoping.
I hope that Purdy wouldn't need to do much. I mean, if he can throw for maybe 200 yards, maybe, and just maybe one TD, and then maybe put one in, not him, but the team scores another TD on the ground or something throughout the game. That'd be fine. I wonder what his interception props are, because I wouldn't be surprised if he threw one here. Just a really tough spot. If they go down, there's a shot he could throw a pick, throwing more in the second half. I don't know. It's just a very tough spot for him, and he's thrown some really crazy passes where he might have some more interceptions had these defenders held on to the ball. Diggs could have picked one off last week, the one that got tipped. Wasn't necessarily Purdy's fault, and although he did rip it into a lineman's forehead off the line, but they went right through Diggs' hands. I mean, things like that. I think plays like that are what's going to change this game. Warner gets the tipped interception, Diggs doesn't. If that goes the other way this week, it could be the Eagles. But I will say on DraftKings, they offer what's called like super bets. They're like the teasers that I've been doing. They do a 10-point super and a 13-point monster. And to me, there's a ton of value on these numbers because they only have it at like you can tease these games 13 points at minus 140, which makes no sense. Like if you go on another site, say you go on FanDuel and you tease these games by 13 points, you're like over minus 200. Like it's not even worth looking at. Right. And so you can do the under here. You can do the Niners, and you get it at like the Niners would be plus 15.5. The over under for this game would be 58.5.
Yeah.
And you can throw one thing or both things in the other game too, whatever side you like. And then I guess we'll talk about like the over under there, but
yeah, we're gonna get into the other game. I mean, I know it's a loaded question I asked you, but that's what I think it's like. I hate to keep saying it's gonna be a battle in the trenches. I think it's gonna be, my gut gambling wise says I'm gonna bet the 49ers. It has nothing to do with Giants loss or anything like that. It really doesn't. Just I think a big percentage of the country is gonna be on Philly. I don't know, but there's a good reason. Good percentage of the country was on. The public was a winner last week. So
yeah,
there could be more of that this week.
I just want to say real quick, like to me, this is similar to last week though, where it's like you have two great teams, and a lot of people were on Dallas, even though the Niners were the favorite there. But if you look at all the underlying stats, like which is a lot of DVOA stuff that I look at. That has all been adjusted for the defenses they played. The 49ers have been better than the Eagles. They are right now on offense and defense right at this moment. So I don't think personally, I mean, I know I'm a fan, but I think it should be a pick 'em. I don't agree with them. I think the Niners are a little better. So typically you're 2.5 to 3 points for being home. I guess then you are saying it's a pick 'em, but I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I see the Niners, though, are 2.5 to 3 points better. So then you give them their points. It should be just a pick 'em.
That's fair. And I think I mean, both coaches really good, but I think a lot of people would give Shanahan the nod for, experience, this, that, and the other, what he's done with any quarterback, really. And like you said, opening up the playbook, there's going to be stuff I think both of these teams are going to do that they've been saving for each other. So I think we might see some craziness. But I really do ultimately think this is going to be like a snot-nosed kind of game. I could be wrong, but I think it's just going to be, a dogfight out there. But
the last time AJ Brown played the Niners too, I'll say this: he ate them alive. So same type of defense here going against him. He's one guy that we're not built to cover. So we'll see how they use him.
And those guys, that's why Philly's dangerous. They've been like this all season. And, I think we all kind of got a little bit like, well, maybe they're hurt. Lane Johnson, Jalen Hurts. You should get them early. You should get them now. Now they're pretty fucking good. They're pretty good. And I think you guys are going to have your hands full. I think it's going to be a really good game. I just see the Niners somehow pulling this one out. I don't know why. I feel it in my bones. So I'm leaning Niners, but I will be betting the under. That's for sure.
Yeah, I would just take the money line. Then I'll say that because I think you get a little better number on it than the 2.5. Unless it gets to 3, then you take that extra half point.
Yep. If I do bet the game, I'll definitely buy the half. I want it at the 3 for sure.
Yeah.
But Listen, before we get into Bengals Kansas City, we got some of Ryan's random thoughts. It's a big hit. Everyone loves Ryan's random thoughts. They're big, crazy brain of yours. What do you got for us today, Baba Ganoush?
You're a weird guy, Ace. Weird guy.
Yeah, I am weird, huh? I think I got a couple good ones this week.
Speaking of weird, somebody commented today on my Twitter asking me if I'm into pegging. I'm not. I'm not kink shaming, but that was pretty random. I was giving out basketball picks, and here comes that question from left field. So sorry. I don't mean to get you off track there.
No, that's all right. I'll say this. I guess this will be my first one. It's kind of just a quick statement, but then we can see what you think about it. But Alyssa always makes fun of me because I call we have Carmex because my lips split a little bit, and I call it lip gloss. Is that bad?
Yeah, no, lip gloss is for girls, dude. Is that what she says?
Yeah, she says, why do you keep calling it that? It's so weird and creepy.
You have to stop, actually.
Alex screaming, where's my lip gloss?
Because you're also, I know how you are. You're also the dude who will walk into a CVS, know that you don't know where that is, and just grab the first person you see who works there and be like, do you know where the lip gloss is?
Yeah, exactly.
And they're gonna be like, aisle 4. It's 2023, so no one's gonna bat an eye. But yeah, so it's funny you say this. My lips have been chapped like crazy. It's winter in New York, it's how it goes. A lot of people think chapstick's just a big fucking scam, and it makes your lips more chapped. Where do you fit on that? I mean, you use lip gloss.
No, the Carmex lip gloss instantly heals them. It's the best thing in the world.
Is it glow? Is it glittery? Yeah. I just picture you walking around your house like gold dust.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I got with one of Max's robes when I get out of the shower. No, it's just it's I don't know if it's the beeswax type stuff or whatever you call it, but I mean it is instant. You put that on, it closes anything up, it makes them feel nice and smooth. After a couple hours, they're perfect again. It's insane.
So Burt's Bees is what you're thinking of, and anybody who has ever told me about the big chapstick conspiracy theory, they swear by that stuff, like you're saying with the Carmax stuff. Are you saying Carmax?
Isn't that a website?
I feel like it's where you rent cars.
Carmex, I think.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I have some right here.
I have Blistex. So
I have Blistex. I have Blistex on my desk here. I have Carmex over by my Lazy Boy.
Oh, you keep that thing on you. I just got this because my lips were chapped. You're loaded up. I like it.
No, I need my gloss all the time.
All right. Yeah, that is it's just, you can call it whatever you want. My lips, like I said, I get the Blistex one because, like I said, I feel like it. Now it does say lip balm on here, and
you got the blue one right there. That's what I got. Yeah, it says medicated lip balm.
Yeah, I would never refer to that as lip gloss ever. I'm also not a 15-year-old girl, so
All right, that's fair enough. Fair enough, because I just, if no one else does it, I guess that makes me unique.
That's all right. Yeah, you're a trendsetter, bud. What else you got?
Well, let's just stay here then, because this is something that I think is weird, but maybe other people don't. I don't know. My grandma pulls her stove out to clean behind it, to vacuum behind it. I didn't even know a stove could move.
So you mean pulling the whole unit out to
She's 80 and pulls that shit out and cleans behind it.
Well, so a couple things. So some of them, you can do that and you can pull them back, but it's mostly older homes, I feel like.
This is new.
It's new?
New oven, new. Yeah. Well, I mean, her house isn't that new, but it's only 20 years old, and it's a new stove. Maybe she requested wheels. I don't know. But she did it before that too.
I don't know. I think that's a couple of things. I think it's an old school mentality. You clean your shit, you take care of it, it lasts longer. Now, this is probably going to blow your mind, Ryan. people do move their bed sometimes and vacuum under there, or slide the couch away and vacuum under
Holy
there.
shit.
I don't know if you're familiar with that move, but that also
No.
is something people do.
I guess. I mean, yeah. I don't want to sound like we're just dirty here, but we don't really move a lot of furniture when we clean. And like I think we keep a clean house, but we're not rearranging everything to vacuum. There's too
Dude,
much going on.
your house is very clean, and you have kids too. But yeah, no, that is something. I think the stove is. I think if we pulled it or pulled it, I don't think a lot of people are doing that. I think Grandma's just kind of set in her ways.
All right, I think we will put a poll out when we release this pod. I'll put a poll right on the tweet. I want to see. I want to see how many people are doing this. I think some people will lie too because they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I clean behind that shit."
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's for sure. Listen, you said let's stay right here. Did you have another thought that Grandma popped in your mind?
Well, no, there's one. So this isn't really random, but another funny story about her cleaning. I guess it is a random story for people who just don't know me or her or anything. But my dad told me that like one of the first times he went over to meet her, like they knocked on the door. My mom's leading, so she like walks right in her house, and he's like, "Right, Grandma was vacuuming the wall." And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, what do you mean?" He's like, "She had the vacuum on the wall, vacuuming the wall." I was like, I don't even know, but I mean, maybe that's what I thought. She was always just like a neat freak. So like, I thought the oven thing was weird, but then I have heard that it might happen in other homes. So,
dude, well, listen, I mean, like I remember some plastic on the furniture at Grandma and Grandpa's house, and there was like it was just different back then. I think you did like washing walls is another thing people do. Like, they wash their walls and things like that. Like I said, I think it's more of an old school mentality thing of take care of your shit. Vacuuming walls is, kudos to your father for sticking that one out. That would have been
that's next
out
level.
of there. Yeah, but that's pretty good. You got anything? You got anything else?
I got one more. This one is, I mean, it's not that great. When you get sick, do you just like most of the time I'll just drink Dayquil and NyQuil. Like that's it.
Yeah. No, so couple things. I get super pissed off when I get sick. Like I'm not a healthy person. I'm getting healthier. I'm being better about myself, but I smoke and all that shit, whatever. I get literally upset when I'm sick. Like I feel like a huge pussy that like a cold got me feeling like I can't do something. And I will just now I'm lucky in this sense of like I don't have kids, so I don't have to be if I can pound some NyQuil and just go to bed at 8:00 if I want to, you know what I mean? And that shit helps. So yes is the answer.
I love that you feel that way. Like if you saw a cold walking down the street, you'd be like, "What the fuck are you looking at?"
Yeah, just a huge
Keep
pussy.
walking.
It just I don't know. You don't want to call out of work because you have a fucking stuffy nose, but you're like you don't want to get anybody else sick. And I'm not calling out of work or anything, but you know what I mean. I just don't. I don't like.
You've gone on a big Dayquil NyQuil bender.
Fucking A.
Does it give you? Does it give you gas?
What's that?
Does it give you gas?
Oh no, not at all. Is it blowing you up?
Yeah, if I go on a Dayquil NyQuil bender, my farts are fucking unbearable. Like unbearable. I probably ripped a hole in this thing down here when I was sick for that one week a while ago.
You should look into washing walls then. Like honestly.
Yeah, I probably should.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
No,
that's probably why my lips were cracking.
Yeah, they're trying to get off of your body and get out.
Pink eye, cracked lips, crazy time.
I've never had. I didn't even know that's a side effect for people. Is that
Dayquil, NyQuil? It's got to be because there's no.
Why do you keep saying? Hold on. Why do you keep saying Dayquil, NyQuil? Are you taking like you're just pounding the Dayquil during the day and then pounding the NyQuil at night? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I take the recommended doses. But I do, Dayquil in the day and NyQuil at night.
So do you use the little cups? Do you use the little cup that gives you?
Yeah.
What a pussy! You just got to drink that shit out of the bottle like a fucking grown ass man, dude.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's I don't know. I don't know. You don't know if it gives you gas because you don't even follow the directions.
That's actually, I was just going to say, that's actually fair because there's a couple times where I've done that. And I'm like the most fidgety person on the fucking planet. I can't sit, as I'm touching my head, I can't sit still. And when I sleep, I'm all over the place. I'm like an alligator doing the fucking death roll. When I take that,
you gotta get a sleep machine. Just get it,
dude. When I sleep like a baby. When I take that shit, dude, I will wake up in the same fucking position I laid down in. I'm like, King Tut in his tomb. I'm just fucking out, dude. It's just, yeah. So yeah, I've been there. I've done that.
All right.
Well, listen.
That's all I really got this week then.
That was excellent. I think, how is Grandma? Grandma doing good?
Yeah, Grandma's doing good. Just turned 80.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Listen, again, all jokes aside, maybe look into washing some walls there, Chief. Listen, Brian, we just talked a little bit about your random thoughts. I wanted to let everybody know we're moving to Wednesdays, right? So this is going to be out on Wednesday. Moving forward, we're going to record on Tuesdays. Couple of reasons why, right? One, football season is winding down and college basketball is ramping up. And we felt like it'd be better to get clips out and talk about stuff that's coming up. Tuesdays are big nights, Wednesdays, Thursdays. College basketball is basically going to be on now from here until, April. So we thought it made the most sense. We'll get this stuff out during the week. The weekend's tough. Not everybody's listening to shit. Not everyone's paying attention to stuff. The football games are there. So we thought it would make more sense. When football comes back, next year, we may move it back. But for the foreseeable future, we're going to be doing Wednesdays. And a big part of that is because of college basketball. Ryan, I know you've been dipping your toe in the college basketball. You said it earlier, 8-1 the other day. I'm on a nice little run. I've had I have a nice record. I think I'm 24-17, but I've had a little rough stretch over the last week and a half. What are you looking forward to this college basketball season? I have fell back in love with college basketball over like the last 4 or 5 years. And I think the NIL is going to make college basketball better. Kids are staying a lot longer. What are you looking forward to this college basketball season? What do you got, amigo?
Man, it's always March Madness. I love the conference tournaments in March Madness. I mean, that's what it's all about. I'm a little upset back when I was placing those. Remember, it was like maybe episode 1 or 2 of this. I was placing some college futures to win March Madness, and at that time, I think Purdue was in the double digits to win it all. At least like maybe 15 or 20-1, something like that. And I wanted to bet it, I didn't, and now you can't find that anywhere.
Texas was another one you sent me. It was right after their
coach got one.
Yeah, it was right after their coach got fired. I took them tonight -8. I thought, what was that, like 60-1?
Yeah, I'll pull it up right now because I got some good numbers out there on Texas and I think Xavier as well.
Well, listen, while you're pulling that stuff up, one thing I wanted to talk about, and I touched on it a little bit. I'm really excited about college basketball because I think the NIL money and the transfer portals and all that kind of stuff and kids being able to bounce around, you're going to get kids staying in school longer. You're getting to remember who these kids are. You start to realize who's on each other's team. It's not the one and done like it was these years ago. You still have it, but the majority of these kids are sticking around because they're making good money. And I think what you're seeing in college basketball now is the blue blood programs aren't necessarily your blue blood programs anymore. I mean, the top 5 ranked, you got Purdue, you got Kansas State, you got Duke is nowhere to be found. UNC, nowhere to be found. You have, UCLA's in the mix, Arizona's in the mix. But you're seeing a lot more parity in this college basketball game. And I think that's a reason I'm really starting to like it. And that Texas future is one I'm liking as well.
Yeah, Texas, I pull it up here. I got them 40-1 when I got them. And I think they're ranked 10th in the country now.
8th.
I got Xavier, who's ranked 13th in the country now. They are, and I think these teams are like even better if you look at like Pomeroy stuff. I got Xavier 65-1. Trying to look on the other some other sites just real quick to see what else I popped out there, but I think these are like crazy value for, you're talking top 15 teams in the country. Why are these? I know it's hard to win the tournament, obviously, but I mean, it's kind of nuts.
Well,
They would
the
offer these
thing,
numbers.
I think it's because it is wide open. I mean, now don't get me wrong. You have Baylor's, you have not Kansas, but they won last year. You still have your teams that are going to come out there and show up, and you're going to still have the 13-1s and plays like that. But I think the value is in taking a shot at some of these longer prices because college basketball is just changing. Like you're going to see an Iowa State make a run. You're going to see, a TCU, somebody like that.
Yeah,
schools like that where you can get a good number on them. It's worth taking a shot, in my opinion.
I got Iowa State at 100-1.
Fucking hey, dude, they're fucking 15th in the country, right?
They're 12th in the country.
They're 12th in the
100 to
country,
1
yeah.
to win.
Yeah,
I took New Mexico, who I think is 25th, and have two awesome players too, which I like targeting teams that have awesome players like that. 200 to 1.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of futures, but if you just need one of those to hit, that's perfect.
Well, that's what I mean. You don't have to put a lot of money on these at all. Like these can be just like not like a tenth of a unit or something like that, because they're going to pay 10 plus or 20. It doesn't. You just sprinkle these in there, and so I probably played 6 or 7 of them that I think just don't make any sense at all. And then when we get to tournament time, I can still put like 2 of my favorites in there and still profit really well, even if the favorites win. So like I love taking flyers like this because you'll see, just like Purdue, the number just gets chopped in half immediately.
And it's crazy. Purdue's one of those teams that, Zach Edey's an absolute fucking machine, best player in the country. Whoa, why is my phone typing for me? Stop it.
I got Auburn, who's 15th in the country, 120 to 1. I mean, this is like, if anyone's, whoever's listening to this, if you can get any of these large numbers anywhere, go get them.
Yeah, you can. But like you said, I mean, the thing that scares me, Purdue's a team where they're good, best player in the country, but they're also one of those teams where they don't cover ever. Like I had them against Minnesota. Like they cover in certain spots, but they're it feels like sometimes they get punched in the face and then they come back and beat a team like a Michigan State by a bucket here or there. They're a team who can be beat, but I think down tournament time, like you said, having some guys, having a couple dudes makes a big difference. The Lobos last night, I had Nevada in that game, -3.5. They played good. They got Mashburn, who shoots the lights out for the Lobos. And they've got some dogs over there, and they've got like tournament guys, good fast guards who control the game, make buckets, and we see it every.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like any like guy who can go off at any time can upset a team. So
we remember seeing it with Jelly Walker last year. Jelly Walker goes crazy, and then you got Mashburn gives you similar vibes to him. A team that I love betting on in college basketball is Illinois. Illinois is a team I rock with quite a bit. I did bet against them the other day when Indiana beat them at home. I just feel like I got a pretty good read on them. That's a team I'm going to be looking at for some value down the road. And nice. I'm excited to be talking about some college basketball here moving forward with you. You got anything else to add? I know you wanted to get those futures out.
No, that's great. And when we get to March Madness, maybe you and we can do a live show and do a couple brackets or something. Be fun.
Absolutely, we're gonna definitely do some fun stuff like that. We are gonna start doing more interviews here. Like I said, we're just getting our feet underneath us. We do have some big plans, some big interviews coming up. We gotta reach back out to Nick Mangle. We got a little bit of an update on that. We'll see what's going on there. And then Ryan, like I said, we talked a little bit about hoops, but let's talk about this Bengals-Kansas City game. The line is moving all over the place. Patrick Mahomes, how hurt is he? Does Joey B even give a fuck? Because all he does is beat this Kansas City football team. You talked about Kansas City's defense. What is your prediction for this game? I don't know if I can bet against Joe Burrow again, but Pat Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. What do I do?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think, again, I go back to this monster teaser that they let you do and still bet it at -140. It shouldn't – I don't think it should be allowed. You can get the Bengals here at like – what were they? I think when I looked, they were -1.5. So you tease that 13 points, you're looking great. Get it over 10 points. That'd probably be the side I'd go if I'm teasing. I really, if this is for personal reasons, I'm in a Survivor League, and you can't choose the same team twice once you hit the playoffs. And I've already used the Bengals, and I've already used the Eagles. So I think I'm going to use the Chiefs this week and try and save the Niners for the Super Bowl and just make it the best Sunday ever if it hits. But we'll see. I don't know. So for my own personal reasons, I want the Chiefs to win. But yeah, I don't know. It's if Mahomes is hurt, and I just listed all these reasons about why the I'll pull them up right now. So I didn't list them, but here's we talked about it. But I got a couple stats here I can list for you. Like KC, they've allowed the most TD passes per game this year. That's not good when you're playing Burrow and all of his weapons. That's terrible news. Cincinnati has allowed the third fewest TD passes per game. That's bad news for the Chiefs, who, even with a healthy Mahomes, they throw more than any other team all the time. Like more passing over expected rate of passing. They're number one in that. Also in the red zone as well, they throw a ton. Cincinnati, top 5 in rush yards allowed per attempt. I mean, it's just this defense just really matches up well against Kansas City. One thing I noticed, Cincinnati is worse versus the tight ends than they are in receivers, but they're still top 10 in TDs allowed a game to tight end. So you take away Mahomes' number one option in the red zone, that makes it a little harder as well. And then I think this was very telling of how they play in the red zone, is that Cincinnati's allowing the third most field goal attempts per game. I don't think that happens if you're letting teams score touchdowns. And one example of that is Kansas City. They're the complete opposite end of that, letting teams no teams kick because they don't need to. They drive down and score, or that they punt. You know, it's like I think the Bengals defense, everything they do matches up perfectly against this team. And then you add in Mahomes might be a little injured. I don't know, man. I think I'm on the Bengals side too. Like, it took me a while to wake up, but I start looking at these numbers and it's like I can't find one number, and I'm a big data dork, where I would say, besides the Chiefs being at home and having Andy Reid and Mahomes, I can't find a number that's like, oh yeah, they're definitely going to win this game. I think I'm on the Bengals side.
Well, you got to ask yourself, how hurt is Pat Mahomes, and is 80% Pat Mahomes somebody who's still wildly dangerous? Yes, he sure is. So the other thing is too, is this is going to be a big touchdown touchdown game. I think T. Higgins gets in the end zone, and I think McKinnon gets in the end zone. I think they're going to be really cautious with his ankle. He's playing, okay? They're going to shoot him up. They're going to wrap it tight. He's going to be okay. The scrambling for the first downs here and there, the extra 30, 40 yards he's typically getting in these playoff games, that's not going to be there. And I think they're going to rely on McKinnon to get in this game. Like you said, they take away the tight ends. I like this spot there, and that's going to be a juicy parlay. We're going to look at that more later in the week when things come out.
He should kind of regress back to the norm. I think he had 0 catches last week, and that just shouldn't happen.
Nope. So. Shouldn't happen, and I look for stuff like that. I look for guys who aren't getting in the mix, who typically are in the mix a little bit, and I think it makes sense here. Joe Burrow is fucking nasty, dude. He's a killer, and it's like, I don't know. I love this guy, but everybody's always betting on him, and since he was at LSU, I'm just always betting against him. I had a good little run this year where I had some games on him, but I just thought they were going to get run out of the gym last week because that number seemed so fucking fake to me. Like 6 points for them, and all they do is beat the Chiefs and the Bills. Like, I don't get it. So
yeah,
I'm with you. What does scare me here is all the line movement. How hurt is Mahomes? It's still Kansas City. You still have to go to Arrowhead and play. It's not a walk in the park. I know he does well against them. It's still going to be a really tough game. I like the over in this game because I think it's too high. I think it's too many points. 47 seems like a lot, especially after, like you said, the defense of the Bengals. Everyone knows KC's defense is good, and Mahomes' ankles banged up. It just seems like a high number. I thought it would be more around the 45 number, but I guess when you have two dynamic quarterbacks like this, it's always going to be higher. I don't know what I'm betting on this game. I do know I'm betting T. Higgins to score a touchdown. Pretty sure I'm going to bet McKinnon as well, but T. Higgins 1,000% I'm betting.
Yeah, I'll tell everyone right now. Like I put the minus 140 monster teaser in there, like 13 points, and I took Bengals, Niners, and the under in both games. So that under in the KC game gets up. It's over 60 points.
So spell it out. What did you bet, and what's the number?
So the here I'm logged in right here. I can read it. So right now it is Bengals plus 11, 49ers plus 15 and a half, Niners Eagles under 58 and a half, and this game under 60.
And that's minus 140.
Minus 140. And I'm okay laying that kind of juice. I've won these the last 2 weeks, and they've been my biggest bet. So I'm sitting pretty right now. I could afford to put a little more on this, and I really like these numbers. So I think, and I do think that the Niners and Bengals could win outright anyways. So when you're getting it over a touchdown like this, in the Niners case, over 2 touchdowns, I don't think they're going to get blown out. So I'm going to do it.
And like you said, I mean, you and I bet differently. I chase a little bit more plus money. You said it last week. Not everybody likes the minus 140 stuff, but you even said it. You normally make it a bigger wager that you're comfortable with, but you can also play with these numbers. Ryan's not saying you should bet what he's betting. He's saying you should take a look at the numbers, and if you feel more comfortable, with plus 9 points and numbers at plus 110, do it. But what he's saying is he thinks there's a lot of value in you moving these lines back and forth.
Yeah, if the Chiefs are plus 2.5 right now, you'd get them at plus 15.5. You'd get them over 2 touchdowns. So if you don't think it hurt Mahomes going to go out there and get blown out at home, which I doubt they do, then take that side of that game. It's
like it's a thought. It's something I have. I've been messing a little bit with it here and there. I still chase the plus money angle of it, but I did it last week where I had or 2 weeks ago I teased the Giants up here and there, but didn't work in a parlay. But I think we're going to get 2 really good football games here. We had some snoozers I think last week. I'm really excited for both of them. It's going to be Sunday 3:30. You got Niners, Eagles, 6:30, Bengals at KC.
I have a suggestion for us, is that to switch the mojo up a little bit for the Big Guys parlay.
Let's just
tweet it out. Instead of dropping the pod on Friday, let's just tweet that out on Friday and take a couple days to talk back and forth about it.
All right. I like that. So we'll tweet out the Big Guys parlay on Friday. I like that. We'll discuss and we'll put it out there. We're 0-3, guys. For as much as we're killing the everything else, me and the big guy can't link up. We can't link up for some reason, but we're gonna get it done this weekend. Ryan, you got anything else to add to these NFL games?
No, it's gonna be a fun weekend. I think it'll be too good. I think it'll be for different reasons, like you said. Like I did bet the under 60 in that game, but that doesn't mean it can't be a fun game to watch where it's 30-27 even or whatever.
Sure.
I think that game has potential to be fun, a little more fun than Niners Eagles. But with the firepower on the Niners and Eagles offense, like what if it's the game they just call these plays and let loose? I think we could see 2 very fun games. And if the Niners game goes over and I lose my bet and they win, I'm happy anyways and whatever. If they lose and they score and put up a competitive effort with a 3rd-string quarterback on the road, I'm going to be happy anyways. It's a good season regardless.
Yeah, and I think Brock Purdy's made the case for it's his team. I think obviously he wins this game, no shit. But it's the guy's done. What else is he supposed to do? It's not his fault.
Right. If he wins this game, it doesn't matter what he does in this. He could throw 4 picks in the Super Bowl. He's still the starter next year.
He just reminds me of like the NFL Stetson Bennett. Like nobody wants to give him, And I said it last week. I thought he would make a mistake. I thought he would be, that 6th round Mr. Irrelevant. And he made some clunkers, but. This Philly team, if he beats them, I mean, you really got to, obviously go to the Super Bowl, duh. But this team is going to be coming out fighting, no doubt about it. And I think the Kansas City game is going to be a dogfight as well. I'm looking forward to it. Ryan, Tony Golf.
Yeah.
Golf is back, all right? We touched on it a couple episodes ago. We'll be getting into some golf, giving out some picks. I have some picks this week for the Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Pines. But we got to talk about Jon Rahm, back-to-back champ, back-to-back winning weeks. he comes to Torrey Pines where he just ragdolls this place anyway. It's one of his best playing courses. He's won a major there, and he's every time he plays in this event he's T5 or better. He's at plus 450 to win.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. Isn't the next best guy like 14 to 1 or some
it's
shit?
It's crazy. You do not see 4 or 5 to 1 in a fucking golf in golf. You just don't see it.
You can't bet that number, right? No way. You'd have to bet it. You'd have to wait for him to slip up and then bet it live or something when it goes up.
I'm just fading him. I mean, winning 3 in a row is tough anyway. Could he do it? Absolutely. He's the number 1 player in the world right now. Literally nobody playing better golf than him. But Torrey Pines is a golf course where it's a ball striker's paradise. You have to strike the ball well. And for my money, I am all over. Well, I'm over. I got 3 players this week. Okay, but 3.
Real quick, I'm curious to see what. Because I don't know shit about. I know a little bit about golf, but I don't. Not like you do. You're Tony Golf, but I look at some things. Some course history, some recent form, things like that. Go ahead and name your guy. I want to see. I have one longer shot in mind, and then a couple favorites that I thought too. Not necessarily that I'm going to bet them, but just I want to see where they compare to your guys.
So anytime I get an iron player like Justin Thomas, who's one of the best in the world and one of the best at strokes gained at plus 1,800 to win the golf tournament, I'm all in. If I lose with that, I lose with that. I think he's one of the best players in the world. I think he's setting himself up to have a good season. And I'm also going to take him at plus 190 to make the top 10. So he's my first player. The other player is Max Homa. Max Homa, I'm taking at plus 2,200 and plus 240 to make the top 10. And one guy I'm taking a shot on to make the top 20 is Hayden Buckley at plus 330. Hayden Buckley played really good last week. He's a guy who's starting to get the driver more under control. And I think I like these 3. Max Homa has been playing some of the best golf of any player on tour over the last year and a half or so. I think he's another guy who bombs the tee ball. He's got tremendous confidence with it and control with it. And for me, this is a golf course you can't make a ton of mistakes. I like the guys who have strokes gained. I think Justin Thomas really gives this thing a go at plus 1,800. He is my favorite play of the golf this week. Justin Thomas plus 1,800. Get him home.
All right, I got so the guys that I thought like would be my favorite bets to make would be Morikawa or Zalatoris.
He just hasn't been able to close. So Zalatoris won there last year, I believe, and so
he came in second to Luke List, I think.
Oh, that's right. He came in second. I like Zalatoris. I saw his number 2. He's also plus 190 to come in the top 10. Who was the other person you said? Morikawa. Morikawa for me he's an unbelievable player, but he's getting in that field to me to where you want to bet him top 10s and stuff like that. He's got to win another one for me to feel differently about him. I know John Rahm came back week 1 and beat him and shot 10 under, but we see Morikawa kind of on Sunday not put up the number he needs to close some of these things out. Don't get me wrong. He's one of the best players in the world. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying for my money, I want somebody who's a little bit more nails like a JT, and that's why I'm taking him.
All right, this was my favorite long shot. And he's right along the lines of Buckley with you there. Top 20 plus 400 Ryan Palmer. Who's finished here 2nd, 13th, 21st, 2nd, 16th the last 5 years.
He's one of CBS's sleepers of the week too, I read.
Yeah. So I did not read that, but I just looking at his form here. So he made his last cut, which I always like to see. And then the only time he didn't finish top 20 here is when he finished 21st. And he's got 2 runners up there. And he's like 75 to 1 to win and 4 to 1 just to top 20. Kind of like that.
Okay. I like that too. I mean, golf to me is one of my favorite things to bet because you can put it in on Thursday. You can check it here and there. I like to do head-to-head bets too, but I don't do those until the weekend typically.
Once you kind of see how their form is for that specific tournament.
Yeah, and I do this with majors too. I for any of those who followed me last year, I hit 3 or 4 majors last year, and part of it was 2 of them I waited till Thursday rounds were over. I just got an idea, and I wanted to see the things moving up and down. And I sometimes I'll do that. Some people say it's cheating because I let the one day go by, but sometimes I like to see how the guys are playing, how they're responding, and bet based off of that. I think golf is, you get good odds, and like I said, anytime I see the ninth best player in the world named Justin Thomas with one of the best iron games on the planet, going to Torrey Pines at plus 1800, book that shit.
Yeah, you know what's funny too is they have both our guys. Maybe we should do it. It'd be fun. We'll come up with this during the week or tonight. I don't know. I'll text you, but it's just coincidentally, and I did not know this because I had no idea you were going to mention Buckley, but they have head-to-head Palmer versus Buckley for the tournament.
Oh, is that right? For the
Yeah,
tournament?
What?
For the tournament? Is it
For the
what?
tournament, they're both minus 110 head-to-head. I think that's awesome. We just mentioned those two, and that's who they put head-to-head here.
We have to bet it then.
Yeah, I think we should. That's got to be like big guys, our big guys head-to-head.
Big guys head-to-head. Fuck Ryan Palmer. Fun story about Ryan Palmer.
Great first name.
Yeah. When I was in college, I got to go caddy at this place called the Grand Dunes, and the U.S. Amateur Qualifier was there, and I saw him birdie 4 holes in a row. I wasn't on his bag. I was in his group. I was one of the people who keep score.
Nice.
I know I just said caddy, not what I was doing. I was a 4 caddy where I could keep the score. But yeah, awesome little deal. I got hooked up with that through school, and they gave us some passes to go play the place 2 days after the event was over, so you could play in the same conditions. Really cool golf course, Grand Dunes, Myrtle Beach, awesome. That's the golf talk I got for us. You got anything else to add on the golf, Ryan? Are you going to get on the links this year or what?
Yeah, man, I'm going to be playing. We got to play together this year. We'll figure it out.
We are. I have a ton of stuff planned this year for golf. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos. I have somebody who's going to be helping me out. And I think Connor also said he'd help me out with filming some stuff and coming to play some rounds of golf and whatnot. So I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff with that. We'll get you out on the golf course. Ryan, what is the fattest thing you've done this week?
No, it's TV, man. Camera adds a couple 100 pounds.
What's the fattest thing that you've done this week, Ryan? What do you got for me?
So the fattest thing I've done this week, there's just so many, but I think the fattest thing I've done this week is the whole week because my family was gone for the first half of the week, and then I went to visit them for a few days, and then I came home, and so the time from they left and then I went there, and then from when I came home and they just got home today, I didn't cook one time, which only means one thing, that I was just driving through everywhere being an asshole.
And we know you don't have any gift cards left because that was one of your fattest things you've done is that you used all your gift cards.
Yeah, so I'm just out there. Now I'm out there just spending the hard-earned money, getting fat.
All right, so that's fair. That's understandable. Listen, it's playoff weekend. These are fat weekends, right?
Yeah, I ordered a lot. Yeah, it didn't just drive through everywhere. I got some nice crispy ass wings delivered here. Yeah, they were. I mean, this place down the road. Next time you come over, we're getting those. They're so good.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I had some people over at my house, and I had planned on cooking and doing the Tony Grill thing and throwing some stuff on, but I got jammed up at work, and I was there later. So I called my brother, and I ordered about $200 worth of food from Otis and Oliver's, just a bunch of wings, ribs. It was great. And we ate, and everything was fine. But probably the fattest thing I did was, one, I was having a panic attack because I was like, well, now I don't know how much I should get. I don't want to have I've known these guys for fucking 25 years. They don't care. You know what I mean? It's like, but I'm having a goddamn panic attack. I called my brother. I was like, I need 7 racks of ribs. He's like, that would be pretty dumb because that's like way too many. I was like, okay. So he hooked it up. We got the food in there. I proceeded to eat. We had so much of it. I literally just ate my last rib today for dinner. So that's one thing. But probably the fattest thing I did was Sunday morning. The big guy was hurting a little bit, got pretty banged up on Saturday after that Giants loss. And I have like this little bodega, like this gas station over here where got all this boar's head, breakfast sandwiches, and he's got beef patties. I went there. I went there 3 times in one day. I got a sausage, egg, and cheese for breakfast. Hey, buddy, what's going on, Anthony? I was like, hey, what's going on?
He knows your first name.
Oh yeah, he's my
His
guy.
birthday, yeah.
He's the best. So fast forward 3 hours later, I was like, all right, I grabbed a turkey sandwich and some fucking sour cream and onion chips. I must have spent like $55 in gas station food. It was just, I was just hungover, and I literally ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner from Ali's. Great guy, great food. That's just a fat guy move. You can't do that. So that's really, that was the fattest thing I've had this week. I will say this. I'm feeling the winter weight a little bit. All right. I'm not feeling great about it. I feel like I'm tacking a few on. We got to refocus. Okay. The winter can't win. Football's nearly over.
Oh yeah. We start a mission starting tomorrow is what I've been told. That we had so many vegetables brought to the house today. It's like,
so your wife told you guys are starting a diet tomorrow. You just found out today.
I think I knew too, which is why I just went so hard this week.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Listen, it's like like Chrissy Moltisanti or in Goodfellas. He does a bunch of drugs and says, "Take me to jail." You kind of, you get all fucked up one last time before you know some things are happening, right?
Oh yeah.
Listen, Ryan, good show. We'll be back next week on Wednesdays. You got anything to add, fella?
Yeah, there's a good shot that I launch my new business tomorrow. And so stay tuned on Twitter. That's where I'll post it, promote it, everything. Drop the link to join. I'll be giving out a deal. It's a NASCAR data analytics website, and I'll have a deal for anyone who joins before Daytona, that price would be locked in for life, no matter what I do with the site in the future. So
yeah. So for those of you guys who don't know, like I said, Ryan's a big NASCAR guy. He's done really, really well with NASCAR. Now, this has nothing to do with me. This is just Ryan's thing. And what he's going to be doing, like I said, he's going to be launching this thing, get you guys in there at a good price. It's going to be paid picks, right?
Yeah, it'll be a lot of data and stats, stuff like that. But I will be posting DraftKings projections and my favorite plays every weekend. So that'll also be on there too. Yeah, so it'll be a good package, and it's about a third of the price of what some competitors are offering. So
I was gonna say the one you were talking about not the other day. They asked for like $375, right? And now it's gonna be like $100. So that's good.
Yeah.
Well, listen, when you know more about it, let us know. Good luck with everything. We'll promote it, and hopefully everything works out. If you don't got anything else, Ryan, good luck in your game against the Eagles.
Thank you.